Hello and welcome to Kaleidoscope. I'm Uche Aluku. Every week, we feature the response of organizations to the COVID-19 pandemic as they support government's effort to manage the impact of the outbreak. We also go beyond the response to the current situation and look into the commitment of organizations to societal development through corporate social responsibility. So here's what's coming up on the program today. Coscharis Group shows its support to the Lagos State government with a donation of 3,000 bags of rice to add to palliatives for vulnerable groups in the state. We'll speak with the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Coscharis Group, Dr. Cosmas Maduka, on giving back to society. And later in the program, a highlight of donations from two of Nigeria's security forces, the Nigerian Army and the Nigerian Navy, as well as some private companies, all aimed at cushioning the impact of COVID-19. Glad to have you join us on the program. Coscharis Group, an indigenous conglomerate, is demonstrating its support to the Lagos State government's fight against COVID-19 with a donation of bags of rice to be distributed to the most vulnerable in society.
Arriving at a warehouse in Ikeja, Lagos, is a trailer containing relief items from Coscharis Group to support the Lagos State government's effort to manage the impact of the COVID-19 outbreak in Nigeria. Inside the vehicle are 3,000 bags of 10 kilograms of rice to serve as palliatives to help cushion the impact of the pandemic, particularly on vulnerable populations in the state. Like many organizations in the Nigerian private sector, Coscharis Group is responding to the crisis at a time when it is evident that the task cannot be left to the government alone. According to the company, this is a reflection of a culture of giving back to society.
We're doing our own little bit of CSR by contributing bags of rice to Lagos State, and hopefully it can reach those in need at this time. It's about 3,000 bags of 10 kg rice, which is about a ton. It's the first phase of what we're planning to do for Lagos State and other states where we currently operate in. As we see need, we intend to discuss with different governments or organizations and see how we can partner to bring aid or some form of relief to the citizens of the state and the country at large.
The management of Coscharis Group says the choice of donating the staple food, which was sourced from Coscharis Farms, a subsidiary company under the group, is to help address some of the challenges faced by low-income earners.
This is the time the whole world is, well, I would say, in a panic mode. Panic mode in the sense that, courtesy of this virus, Lagos State is also part of having the challenges. And that's why Coscharis, out of our own corporate social responsibility deliverables, we deem it fit that this is also to solicit for understanding, more importantly, and again give a support to the needy at this point in time, at this very challenging period. Support the Lagos State government with all the initiatives and efforts to curb and, more importantly, also eradicate it. So that's why Coscharis is looking at how do we also come very handy and collectively turn this challenging period to opportunities for us to have a better life to live.
The bags of rice are taken out of the truck and handed over to an official of the Lagos State Ministry of Agriculture.
On behalf of Mr. Governor, I want to receive the 3,000 10 kg rice from Coscharis Limited. We want to thank them for their support for the people of Lagos State, and we assure them that the rice will get to the target beneficiaries who are the vulnerables in the society.
Coscharis Group is an indigenous conglomerate which comprises companies that cut across various sectors of the Nigerian economy, including agriculture, healthcare, information technology, the automobile industry, among others. Established in 1977, the group prides itself in its contribution to the Nigerian economy over the years and society at large through its wide range of products and services.
You may be wondering if this sort of collaboration with government to solve problems in society will continue after COVID-19. Well, the answer is yes, for those who have a CSR culture. I spoke with the chairman and chief executive officer of Coscharis Group, Dr. Cosmas Maduka, who says over the years, the organization has made deliberate efforts to contribute to community development. With the challenges that the pandemic has brought, we've seen a lot of companies come forward and support government efforts to fight the virus, Coscharis Group inclusive. Was the act merely a response to the crisis, or is it a culture of corporate social responsibility?
CSR is in the DNA of our organization. Very simple. If you have read our mission statement, we say that Coscharis will provide excellent products and services and will plow back resources for the development of the society. So it's not something that happened just by a chance. It's something we believed in. Way back before COVID-19, we've taken CSR as part of the thing our organization thrived on. We've built bridges to link community roads in the villages. We've tied roads. We've sacked borehole and provide waters. So there are things we've been doing before now. The only law lecture theater in UNN was built by Coscharis several years ago. The senior staff quarters at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University was built by Coscharis. So you can't talk about us without talking about our involvement in CSR. So community development and putting sin back to the society is what we believe as an organization. But during the crisis, two things happen, which is really where the challenge is. There are two tragedies that happen during crisis. During crisis, a lot of companies withdraw their generosity and stop giving, which ought not to be so, because this is really the time people really require and needed the help from organizations. So during COVID-19, Coscharis responded in a natural way through Coscharis Medical and CG Biostat. We supported isolation center in Anambra State. It donated medical equipment and different things. During the lockdown, we distributed tens of thousands of bags of rice, both in Lagos State, in Rivers State, in Anambra State, and different states where we do business. So it is culture of Coscharis to plow back resources for the development of community and to touch the life of people.
Yeah, that's really good to know. What we find in many companies is that these CSR programs are mostly under the purview of senior executives, not necessarily the CEO or the chairman. In Coscharis Group, as all of you explained, how involved are you in the CSR programs?
I am involved in the sense that it is the part of the DNA of our organization, like in every mission statement or vision of organization. If you sell it to your people and they make a believer out of them, you can sit back and they will carry out the whole vision. So I am not the person who gets involved with it on day to day, but from the top management to the lower level is something we already believe is a culture, that we try to practice and live it out for people to see.
Okay, you've mentioned some of the projects, CSR projects that you've done. Could you just tell us the areas these CSR projects focus on? So we see some of these things, it's all about shared value, we know CSR. So some are targeted towards maybe healthcare, some education, some the environment. What areas do you prioritize?
Like I said, there are communities that are completely cut off from one community to the other because of a bridge to link them, and people spend endless of hours, trying to be able to move merchandise around and be able to live. We built bridges in the past to link those communities. We've tried the best we can also to touch the life of the youth and affect the youth. We do a whole lot that targeted towards the youth. If you follow our history in the past, you will notice in 10 consecutive years we sponsor table tennis, through which we try to get the youth, and we awarded scholarship for those who wanted to go to school, those who are inspired to go to school. I personally have also made myself available in talking to the youth and relating with them. I used to be the chairman of Nigeria Table Tennis Federation for 16 years, and I led the Nigerian team to 5 Olympics, Atlanta 96, Athens 2000, and then Sydney 2004, Beijing 2018, and London 2012. So during my leadership, we played in grand in a Commonwealth game in Manchester and beat UK to become a single, an individual champion. And then in Melbourne, we also beat Australia to emerge a team event in Australia. So until I get too busy that I had to withdraw, I go to different universities to speak to youth who have really given up about this society. They are disillusioned and felt there's no hope, nothing is left here, and all is in a hurry to just jump out once they are done with school, to inspire them that it depends on the way their mind works, that there are a lot of value that can be created here. So it's not just about making money, it's all about value system that people have in their own life. So we target the youth to inspire them for greatness and giving them hope, because that's what our organization was built behind. We are a beacon of hope for people who thought there was no chance for anybody to becoming something. We've been able to prove that your mindset is what matter more than the things that you encounter in life.
One good thing about social impact, while it can be assessed, but these are more or less intangibles. Let's talk about something more tangible now. The budget for CSR. What's it like on a yearly basis for Coscharis Group?
It's something I can always tell you. We spend an average of maybe 2 to 3% of our earnings on CSR. Of course, if there is things that crops up that we think that require their priority, we don't exceed 5% of our annual income, in our CSR. So if we want to put it in tangible number in terms of percentage.
That's really impressive. If I think of the CSR bill that was there was an attempt to push some years ago into law, but that didn't work out. It prescribed 3.5% before tax. Do you see a time in the future ever where companies would agree to such a policy now that everyone, or a lot of people know the importance of CSR and sustainability in business?
No, when we talk about, organizations, various organizations have different aspirations, different value system they have. Some company value money more than human being. We don't at Coscharis, and that's why I'm particularly very, very proud that out of 2,260 of our employees, that not one person has been laid off, COVID-19 notwithstanding. Everybody is still under our payroll, and we paid people even though we didn't work in the whole month of April, but we kept all our employees, and we had no plans so far to, make more money than those things. So we treat every member of our organization as a member of our family. So our value system is different. So it's depending on what drive each organization. Okay, so and that's what Coscharis is some company value system need to change, but they have their own idea what will help them achieve what they set out to achieve. For us, making money is important. We can only make money if we can get our people to believe in us. As we help them to get to where they want to get in life, we will make money doing that.
That's exactly what sustainability in business is all about.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, your personal story is one that is inspiring.
Thank you.
From a humble beginning, growing Coscharis to what it is today. I won't ask you to retell the story, but I want you to tell me some of your secrets or habits that helped you face the challenges you obviously went through and put all of this together.
Nothing can help a man or a woman with the wrong mental attitude, and nothing can stop a man or a woman with the right mental attitude. So life is a choices we make, and it's all come from the way we think. You ask about the secret. That's the secret. I think differently. As a matter of fact, I don't believe I have a competitor. The man I am only convinced is my competitor is somebody who thinks like me. If you don't think like me, I never regard you as a competitor. I just think you're one of those traders along the way, because you will change your mind as things, present themselves. But my thinking attitude will come to play, and that's how I will carry on. It's the way you process information, in your mind, the creative thought process that comes with it that create innovation. When you are the way you reason and think, that's how you want to do things in a little bit different way. You question the status quo, the way people have been doing things, and find a way to improve in what people have been doing before.
It's really easy to see the reason behind your involvement in youth development, trying to change their mindset. That is one aspect of participating in societal development. There's so many other areas. As CSR is in Nigeria, do you think companies are doing enough to contribute to societal development?
To judge whether companies are doing enough may not be completely fair. If you looked at what is going on this year, very few companies will be thinking about profit. What is really important is to close the year and keep meeting up your obligations. So making money will be something for future. But if you honor all your obligations this year without, caving in at any point, then people will congratulate you. So if there are companies who are not able to meet up their obligations, you cannot be telling them about CSR. That is true, if they have not planned for it or have any buffer in their system.
COVID-19 out of the picture.
Okay.
If you have a culture, you have a culture, meaning in the past, you'd have been engaging in CSR.
Mm-hmm.
After COVID-19, when things return to normal, if you have a culture of CSR.
Yeah, outside of the COVID-19, I do not think the company are doing enough. I think quite a number of them could do much better. Quite a number of them will do much better than than they are doing. I expected that there could be something much better to be done.
The idea of giving back to society is often associated with the private sector through corporate social responsibility. But responding to existing socio-economic needs in society is a moral obligation for responsible citizens, be it in the public or in the private sector. Have a look at recent donations by some private firms and two components of the Nigerian Armed Forces.
For some people, the presence of uniformed men in their neighborhood elicits fear, but for residents of Ojo Lower Empire community in Lagos State, the sight of the Nigerian army offloading a truck of food items under the rain is a pleasant one. The distribution of palliatives, courtesy of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuko Buratai, is proof that beyond combat operations, the Nigerian Army contributes to the development of society through humanitarian interventions such as this. With the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic hitting hard on low-income earners and other vulnerable people, the donation is to serve as a buffer against the current harsh economic reality of many Nigerians. Similarly, officers and men of the Western Naval Command of the Nigerian Navy chose Alayagbiagba community in Ajegunle area of Lagos State for the distribution of palliatives to ease the impact of the COVID-19 outbreak. They are here with relief items meant for 340 households. In this fight against COVID-19, it's the private sector organizations that have taken a lead in supporting the government efforts with donations and contributions covering medical and food supplies. One of the recent donors is Boa Group, with a donation of 200 million naira and 5 ambulances to treat patients infected with the virus in Lagos State through the Boa Foundation. The intervention is also replicated in other states across the country where the group operates, including Edo, Sokoto, Ogun, Jigawa, and Katsina states. Also contributing to efforts to manage the COVID-19 crisis is Momas Electricity Meters Manufacturing Company Limited, with the distribution of 600 bags of rice, face masks, and hand sanitizers to communities in Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State. As efforts to contain the spread of the coronavirus continues, it is the collective effort stemming from shared responsibility that will strengthen Nigeria's response to the current situation and hopefully spur similar interest in addressing other developmental issues in the country.
And that's our show. Thank you for watching. For more of the program, connect with us on social media via Twitter handle CTV Kaleidoscope or send an email to kaleidoscope@channelstv.com. I'm Uche Aluku. As always, I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.